We're going to go ahead and get started. We still got a few more trickling in. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm obviously excited to get the 2018 session off to a strong start. It's our intention to start this session quickly and have substantive bills to the floor of the House by next week. Also very happy to introduce, I think the first time in a formal press conference, our new Majority Floor Leader, Representative Vescovo. Excited to have a really strong, committed partner in the back of the chamber to help us as we navigate through this session. I spoke in my speech about some of the ways I hope we'll approach this session. We're going to start next week by tackling at least two pieces of legislation. One, House Bill 1246 by Representative Pike regarding human trafficking, and we'll be back to our early session effort again to try to impose a ban on lobbyist gifts. In addition, we intend on moving the Hair Braiding Freedom Act, priority for Representative Dogan and many members of our caucus early in session. In addition to that, this is going to be a session for us that is focused on continuing our mission of trying to create what we think is the most competitive economic environment you can find anywhere in the country. That means we're going to take a strong look at our tax policy in Missouri. We're going to continue our efforts on tort reform, labor reform, but we're also going to be committed to protecting the core values that this majority caucus has fought for and defended for many years. So with that, we're excited to get the session started, and I'm happy to take any questions.
What does your caucus intend to do about the recommendations of the Transportation Task Force?
Yeah, we're going to take a strong look at those. I'm proud of the work that Representative Corlew and his team did. I think they dug into the problem, spent a lot of time talking to people across the state, getting good input, and so we're going to give those recommendations the full review they deserve.
Several of those recommendations are similar to pieces of legislation that have come up in recent years. They haven't gone anywhere. How is this year going to be any different?
Well, look, I think we have been committed to trying to find a solution to the transportation funding problem for a long time. We've made good progress. We're very mindful of the fact that we have a responsibility to spend every single taxpayer dollar wisely and to try to invest those dollars into the priorities that are most important for the people of our state. And so that will be part of that conversation as it's been in years past.
Mr. Speaker, the ethics bill, you talked about a top priority. I know you talked about that as well. It passed 149 to 5, bipartisan support last year, died in the Senate. Are you optimistic about the House? And what about
it's the first day of session, so I have to be optimistic at this point here. Yes, I am. I'm very optimistic that we're going to continue a good, strong working relationship with the Senate, and I'm hopeful that we'll see the Senate be able to take up and pass that bill.
You plan to send it to the Senate by January, before January's over?
I plan to send it to the Senate next week.
Speaker, in your speech, you talked about improvements in the culture here at the Capitol, and I know that a couple years ago the House adopted a new sexual harassment policy, new policies for interns. There's been a lot of that in the news recently in other states over the past 3 months. Do you plan on taking another look at that policy? Are there potentially even more updates to come?
Well, as I said from the day we implemented that policy, it was going to be an ongoing effort to make sure that we got it right. And so part of our policy is that every year we undertake a review of that policy and we look to find ways to make improvements to that policy. So I also said today it's going to be an ongoing effort. So to the extent we need to continue to update and improve our policy, we'll certainly do so. But I will say this, I'm happy with the way the policy is working, and I'm happy with the fact that I think with all of those things in the news, Missouri actually was a leader in this space and provided some good guidance for other states looking to implement similar policies. So I'm proud of that fact, and I know that I and our Human Resources Department, our Chief Clerk, are committed to making sure that we update that policy to make sure it's the best it possibly can be.
What updates have you identified?
Well, we've had a lot of conversations about how our safe harbor provision works and making sure that people have viable outlets to report complaints and to get guidance. I was really proud to work with the Women's Foundation over the interim to provide an additional way that people can report and get some action on some of those complaints. So those are the types of things that we're going to look at.
Can you give us any statistics on the number or the resolution of complaints? Nothing personal, but the number of complaints that we received, and has anybody been dismissed from their job as a result?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of any of the complaints. Some, to the extent our policy works, it's because it protects the privacy and the confidentiality of these complaints. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of any of that. Anything else?
Sure. Federal tax plan recently enacted.
Yeah.
Are there some changes that Missouri needs to make or should consider making as a result of what passed in Congress?
Well, I don't think as a direct result of what passed, but I do think that Congress is showing a strong path forward on why tax reform is important and why it's important at the federal level. Those same things hold true at the state level. So it's been a priority of this caucus and this majority for a long time to look at tax cuts and tax reform. And I think to the extent that the federal bill continues to provide some momentum for those efforts, we'll be looking to pick that up on the state level.
So right now, the federal, Missouri couples to the federal tax bill on the standard deduction, which
Sure.
is doubling, but also on the personal exemption, which is being repealed, eliminated.
Right.
Think we should continue to couple ourselves in those two areas?
I don't think there's any need to change the way Missouri is coupled together right now based on the impact of revenue. We're going to have a consensus revenue estimate that incorporates what we think the impact of that will be in very short order, and I think it's going to be a manageable hit to our state budget. Chairman Fitzpatrick and his team will be working through that, but I don't see any reason why we should decouple and reduce the tax cut that Missourians are getting from the federal tax law.
Maybe it's too early to ask this, but do you have a sense as to whether or not we'll start on the budget work in January as opposed to February last year?
The truth is that we start working on the budget the day after the last one's passed. So Chairman Fitzpatrick and his team have already been working on that, and I know that as the governor releases his recommendations, they'll be cranking that effort up in short order. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the session.